Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Rick and Todd. And if we're missing
Yes.
I knew somebody was missing, right? So she's going to be joining us shortly, and we'll start doing our normal direct talk stuff.
All right. So you go talk about Dragon Con.
Yeah. Before she gets on board here, we'll tell you what we'll talk about. What we want to talk about.
All right.
We went to Dragon Con. You know what that is?
That is.
It's that big festival in Atlanta, Labor Day weekend. Everybody dresses up. We didn't dress up.
We didn't dress up.
We didn't
Our
dress
godsons
up.
did.
Yeah, we carried our godsons and they dressed up. Well, yeah. One of them did.
It was anime. I don't know what anime. What's anime?
Anime. It's Japanese movies. Like
Right,
Speed Racer.
right,
Did you ever see Speed Racer?
No. I remember the cartoon.
That's the Speed Racer was anime.
Guys,
Hey, Diane.
Are you there?
There you are.
I'm here. Can you see
can
me?
you see us
or
okay?
do I
Oh, yeah, just back.
Hey, I love the glasses. I love the shades. How 70s,
Okay,
like on squad.
Thank you. Can you so you can see me okay? Good.
Can you
Good,
see us
good.
okay? We both in there all right?
Taryn said we're recording already.
Okay, good. Well,
Be careful what
that's
you say.
we had to do. So we'll have to like launch into the conversation here. I just want to make sure I'm nice and centered. How about that?
Are we nice and centered?
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
You definitely are centered. So I just want to make sure I'm centered. So guys, when you say there is so much to talk about, it's like
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like another week.
We can talk about
I mean,
anything.
what could we talk about? I mean, I don't know. Is there
No.
anything that maybe major has happened in the world?
Oh no, nothing's going on for heaven's sakes. I mean, it's the dullest time ever.
Ever, yes. So we'll have to just come up with something like, I don't know, the Queen passing away. There's that.
Yeah, the Queen passed away.
Well, we could do that because that's perfectly something that everybody's happy to talk about. And, and of course, there's the whole, we could say something quick. There's the whole scuttlebutt about, is William really mad at Henry? And is there really bad blood between them now? Oh my goodness, that's kind of the scuttlebutt that's going on. Or the other one is Prince Charles really going to pass down the kingship to his firstborn son? I mean, really?
No, I don't think he is right now, right? I mean, he's like, did you watch the speech today? He was
I didn't.
I watched it. I watched his first speech as King Charles III. The first two Charleses.
Right.
I don't think the first two Charleses had a great run, if I remember correctly. One got executed or something like that. Charles back in the 1600s. So I don't know. Hopefully this one will end up a little bit better. But
Yeah.
but I think when he spoke, right here. When he spoke, he was looking like Todd's like leaning away from me, like I don't want to talk to you anymore.
No, we're trying to get
Give him Todd the elbow here.
So when he spoke very kingly. You could tell, I think he was like, I mean, the whole thing is he's been preparing his whole life for this role. Now he's starting later than anybody. He's 70 years old and he's just starting his job. Most people are retiring. Now he's starting.
Right. But that's what happens in the monarchy. And I agree with you in what he said. He's been preparing for this his whole life. I really don't see him passing this along to anyone else.
No.
I really. And of course, Camilla, I remember when she married him and her face was on Time magazine, I think, and it was just her face about marrying the prince. And I thought, only in England would a face like that take the monarchy. Honest to God. But she looks better than she ever has. Camilla has
definitely stepped up. She stepped up the game.
He adores her still. And she has done very well in this role. And I understand that it was Queen Elizabeth's decision to allow her to take the title Queen Consort. So Queen Elizabeth was very happy with her. So I think it's great. I think it's all great.
I think the biggest thing she had to do, like when all this started, is she just had to not F up, to be honest with you. And that was probably her main job for the past year. Every day, it was probably a Post-it note on her thing, don't F up today, because as long as she didn't do that, then I think people would, it kind of warm up to her, because she would originally people were kind of like down on her. Everybody loved Di. So as long as she could just kind of play it cool, which she's done, like with like the British patience that she has, she's just played it cool, not gone out and done anything insane or crazy. And I think people have the British people sort of appreciate that. That very much appeals to the British consciousness of like
Yes.
slow and steady, keep calm and carry on. And she went right into that just beautifully. So I kind of tip my British hat to her for not effing up.
Well, she stayed in the background and she wasn't in the press. And I think she took on the role she needed to take very nicely. And she's maintained it. She has never, ever made it about her.
Are you a big fan of the British monarchy? Are you, Todd? Are you a big
really?
fan? Not really.
I mean, no.
Are you a big fan?
I don't know them. I don't live there.
No, you don't.
We don't. But I will confess this. I was a huge Lady Di fan. I'll admit it right here now. I'll say it shamelessly. When it was 1997 Labor Day when she passed away. I had just moved into this place where we're living now. That's how long we've been living here. And Todd hadn't lived here yet. And I watched that whole weekend. I just sat here and cried my eyes out. I just was so saddened by what happened to her. And so I was a huge fan of her. And so I think that's one reason when Camilla came on, people were like big Di fans were like, but so I was a big Di fan. And so, and obviously
we all
were, yeah. Who wasn't, right? But
yeah.
And I think that's what got everybody interested in the monarchy. Up to that point, let's face it, they were kind of boring, They
were terribly boring.
Yeah, and so that's what I asked like before, and I admit also that before Di, I didn't really, I was like everybody else. So, there's a Queen Elizabeth,
Yeah. Right. Well, it was kind of like the word we always used was the British always looked terribly constipated. Saying pale and constipated. And the reality is the British do have great senses of humor. I have that. The name Chapman is very British, and I do have that in my background. Yeah. And they actually have great senses of humor, and they're very energetic. But the royal family has to stay so deadpan so much. They have to be careful what they say. They have to be careful what they do. That's the whole culture of the royalty. So bringing in Diana was such a fresh thing. It was fresh and new, and she was so young. And then she turned into this beautiful young woman. We watched her, and she became just gorgeous and a fashion statement and just so intriguing. And of course, she loved her children and was so interested in her boys, which was another thing the royalty doesn't do.
Right,
so
and that's true.
They were always so interested. They were always not interested in their children.
Right, they were like these distant, like, they were off in the distance. Here she was like,
the kids were with the nannies.
Right. And the old British nanny, Mary Poppins, or the one that beat people, or the man scared people. I don't know. But also I told Todd she kind of did her perfect royal duty. Producing 2 male heirs was kind of like the ideal thing a British princess do. And boys. And so I heard, though, and tell me if you heard this. This is something else I heard that. So the succession line always was male centric, right? But I heard William and Kate, so that they said, we're not going to start producing heirs until you change that, till you make it gender neutral. So that the reason why we have Queen Elizabeth is because there was no other men. She was the next one in line. If there had been a little brother, or if she'd had like if she had a younger brother below her, he would have overstepped her. And so I think what I understand, though, if you look at the line of succession today, Charlotte is like the 4th in line right now, but that's because William and Kate had that changed. Have you heard anything about that they had that changed, or is that
I really don't know. But I will say that William and Kate once again have broken a lot of the rules as well. They've taken their children with them everywhere they go, and they're not going to get into that whole former royalty thing either. Although Kate is the perfect queen material. She is absolutely, totally British. totally into the royalty, and she knows what she's doing. So if anybody is going to be doing any rule breaking, it is William and Kate, other than William will become king at some point and she will be queen.
Right.
But they know their roles, but they also are so into their children. And they do know that their children are princes and princess.
Right.
But from there, I think anything goes with them. I really do, although they are very well versed in the lives of the royals.
Yes, they are. Indeed, they are. Kate has been like, you're right. She's just been perfect. Some people think she's been a little too perfect. I don't think she has. I think she with William stood like she wanted to be. She didn't want Charlotte to be pushed to the bottom of the stack, and so I think I'm ready to do. What about Harry? What do you think about Harry? I'm just gonna say I like Harry.
We love Harry. We always have. Harry has been just so. What's the word for Harry? He's been so non-royal and yet royal his entire life. I mean, Harry has just been a scream. He really has. And he's done things like break the rules about going in the military. He went to Afghanistan, and no prince has been allowed to do that. But he said, screw that, I'm going. And he became a soldier, and he went there, and he was good there. He was very much a compadre to his fellow soldiers.
Yeah, they loved him apparently, and that was not just a hearsay. They show pictures of him out there playing soccer with them and all that kind of stuff. They were out there just like they were a bunch of guys, and they were. I think he kind of won their heart. And kind of like Princess Di won people's hearts by being among the people.
He did, and he was a very dedicated soldier. There was one interview with a woman. I'm trying to remember what publication or news program it was. And shooting started. And the minute he heard that shooting, he ripped off the microphone. He was gone. I mean, he was totally into being a soldier. He was a soldier.
Right. Yeah. So
Harry has been a different kind of prince.
Right.
Always. And now there is discussion. There has been talk, because the Queen Elizabeth had decided she might change this, of going ahead and making Harry's children a prince and princess once again.
Right. That's why the picture you show him as Prince's his son is called Master.
Yeah, Master Andrew, is it?
No, what is his son's name?
The baby.
The baby. Yeah, we were just looking at it either. But if you look at the list, it's Prince George, and then Charlotte, and then Louis, and then what's Harry's kids? I'm gonna just totally cheat and Google it right now.
The girl is Lilibet after her great grandma.
Right.
And I think that the boy is George. But there's a George already, because
you can't have more than one George.
William and Kate have George.
So, yeah, William George, and
Harry,
George, Charlotte, and then Louis, and then Louis. So I was trying to figure it out there. Anyway, I was just trying to make it goals.
Yeah.
Archie's there. Archie. So it goes. So the order of succession goes William, George, Charlotte, Louis, Harry, and then Harry's son Archie, and then Lilibet.
He's a cute little kid. If you haven't seen him, he's adorable.
Archie?
Yeah,
he's a cute kid. He's adorable. So,
Diane, do you have a dog near you? Did you have a dog near you, Diane, at the time?
Are we hearing dog barking?
No, not barking. We're noises.
Oh, no. Although we have plenty of dogs in the neighborhood.
It was scary. I'm hearing other background noises from someone. That's not you.
No, there's no noise in here whatsoever.
I'm just hearing like rumbling like paper.
Maybe she's got sound effects. Maybe she's got you have a sound effects person back there? Have you upgraded to a sound effects person?
Yeah, you should turn the light off.
We have special effects though.
Yeah, can you do it?
Are you ready? We've upgraded to special effects. Are you ready? Hold on. We've got a special effects person we've upgraded to. It took a very costly thing to do this.
Can't you see it? I'll move it over here.
We got special effects.
Look. Yeah.
So we got some very expensive special effects.
Yeah, for
Lots
magic.
of
For our
money
camping trip.
for these special effects. So, and we just wanted to share them with you. How do we look? Do we look very special effectsy?
Like 1978.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say we're at the disco now. We got the disco ball going.
We just thought we'd do special effects. We thought we thought you were going to have special effects. We didn't want to be one upped.
Oh, no special effects here. We're pretty boring around here. We really are.
We go to bed. We wake up at 4 and just go to the gym at 7. I see how Taryn gets his energy. I mean, he's there like at 6 in the morning training people. Then he's flying down the street somewhere else, and he's doing his videos with other people.
I know he is very energetic. Maybe he should be the king. I don't know. King Taryn. Hey, would you want to be the queen, or would you want to be in the royal line of succession? Would that be something fun for you?
I don't know that it would. When I was younger, I could do that. Honestly, I could, because I was up every day and I would do myself. I put on my suit and I was out always in the public and in the public eye, because I would go speaking and running workshops and all of that. But since I'm retired, not that I cruise and don't do anything with myself, but I'm one of those people. I'm a woman who always likes to put on her makeup and always look good, but I'm not out and around as much, which actually suits me after a lifetime of always being on and always being like, yeah, let's go. I actually am kind of enjoying at this moment being more laid back. So at the moment, no, I wouldn't want that life.
So you don't want to like you wouldn't want to wake up yesterday and realize at this point in your life you're the monarch or the monarch of England, like Charles. Charles wakes up at 70, now he's a king. See, and that sort of circles back where that's what we started talking about. I'm like, really, it's almost like you really think about it right now, it's kind of weird. We've got Charles who's in his 70s, who's the monarch. We got Joe Biden, he should be retired. I mean, I like him and everything, he should be retired. Right. We've got Donald Trump. Well, he should be somewhere, probably jail. I don't know. But what is it with old white men these days? Old white men how did they, in a world where we're trying to be so diverse, how all of a sudden, I mean, I'm not saying it bad or critical. I'm not trying to be, I'm just kind of wondering how in this world where everybody wants diversity, but look who's running everything. Old white
men.
How did that happen?
I don't get it. Old white men continue to run.
I guess in a way we might be.
And everywhere else.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, old white men. But it's kind of funny that all of a sudden in the world right now, it's older white guys running things. And
it has been forever. It has been forever, old white men. Think about it.
That should be like, maybe we should come with a movie. Old white men.
There's been there has been.
That could be
Old WM.
Old. I did think about that when I saw Charles. We talked about this earlier when you said that, and I was going to bring it up. When we talked about Charles taking the throne at 70, I thought about Joe Biden took the presidency to 70s, Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan was in a spring chicken.
Well, Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, the youngest president we've had was
Kennedy.
was Obama. Obama's our age.
Right.
He's like our age even. And that's,
right.
So it's been, and he's not an old white guy by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But I just kind of wondered what was kind of going on with this. Are we becoming like what was the ancestor worship of the Chinese? I mean, we say we want young and all that kind of stuff, but we really end up letting the old guys kind of run things, right?
No, the older guys haven't. And gosh only knows how long that will last. But you just want to it's like, would you just move on? Just move on. Just, the old expression about, I love you, God bless you, but get out of the way. Go home. It's time. It's time. I was reading an article recently about how we need to have more young people getting involved in this process because they're the future.
Right.
Everything we decide now is going to be what they have to live with. And not us. We're going to be gone.
Be gone. especially
need
it's a climate change. And I know they're pretty vocal about it and all that kind of stuff. I think they are very expressive a lot of ways, especially if you do demographic polls of younger people. They are concerned about climate change and stuff like that.
yes, they are.
Maybe they just don't know what to do about it, or maybe they see, you know, the S show that's politics and all that, and they're like, you know, it's not for me. You know, I'm gonna just stay on Twitter or gonna play my video games or whatever. And
Exactly.
they're
And
stepping
I
up.
think they don't know. I think they don't know. I think they have given up. They are not signing up to vote. We need to court them. And honestly, the young ones who are signing up as Republicans. And I think it's because the Republicans are so loud about what they offer and how they want to operate. And I think so. I think that the young people who are signing up, I mean, we got 23-year-olds and 25-year-olds running for Congress right now. And
Right.
they're running as Republicans. And I think maybe it's because they're signing up because they want action. And I mean, that could very well be.
Well, there's that kid in Florida who's running. He's kind of marketing himself as the first Gen Z congressman, and he's not a Republican. He's very anti-gun. You know, he's almost kind of like the other side of it. So I haven't looked at the data on it, to be honest with you. I've heard talk about it, and it could be just these people are louder. You know, there are younger ones out there. I mean, you know, OC, you know. There's several of them. I can't. The lady who's the squad. Who's the lady? Anyway, the one of those ones they always kind of knock down. So that Cortez, the one from New York or whatever.
Alexandria.
Yeah,
Yes.
AOC is what they call her.
Yeah, AOC. But you know, I think she alienates too many people. Because her rhetoric is so direct, and she uses the word socialism a lot, and people don't like that word.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because they don't understand it.
Right.
Because the conservative makes such a big deal about calling it evil. And the reality is she never explains it. She just throws it out and throws it around. And now her deal is not only socialism, but also the concept of women hatred. And now she's talking about how she doesn't think she could ever run for president because no one would choose her to do that because of women hatred. So I think she approaches things the wrong way. And I think she rubs people the wrong way because of that. And I wish someone could get their hands on her who could guide her in what she needs to say, right, and how she needs to talk about it. Because so many people in Congress are alienated by her because of what she says and how strongly.
Well, so speaking of other younger person, I've got to bring this out here because I'm a big fan of this guy. He's young. Is our guy Pete Buttigieg?
I would love to see him get stronger.
But don't you think he's by being openly gay? Isn't he like? I mean, they basically when he was running for president, they said there's no way you can run president because black people aren't going to vote for a gay guy.
Why is that?
They just said he couldn't get the black vote because there's still a lot of homophobia out there for that. But
there's a lot of homophobia out there amongst everybody.
Exactly. Tell us about it, man.
Yes.
But there was that's the other one. Like I sort of think that may be why a lot of you see these people go to these Republicans, but the young people you talk about, like that Laura, what's her name from Colorado, and the younger ones that I see coming up, they're kind of crazy though a little bit. You know that Madison guy who was in the wheelchair. You know, so the ones that come up,
they're crazy, they're rude, they're awful. That Marjorie Taylor Greene, that woman is just plain horrifying. She's not kind. She has no tact. She's rude. She's vicious. And that is Lauren Boebert as well from Colorado.
Yeah, from Colorado. Yeah. I'm having trouble with names today for some reason. Maybe I'm starting to feel my age.
You're having one of those days where you just can't remember the names because we're talking about this so quickly. But these people are not kind, and they have no comportment, and they're just rude. And people are loving that right now, which I don't know what that says about us, but it's just not good. And now we have a Supreme Court that is reinforcing a lot of hatred, because the next thing they're going to go after is gays.
Gays.
And
Yeah, we're next.
You can't don't say gay in Florida.
Yeah, I know. We just we went to Florida. We just got back from a vacation. We went to Cumberland.
You went to Florida?
Yeah, we went to Cumberland Island, but we stayed one night at Amelia Island. Okay, and which is in Florida. And we went down there. And we're like, can we say gay down here?
Oh no, Fox. I went down to get some coffee and bagels. There's Fox News on the TV.
Right. So we were like, can we say, because you know the don't say gay, which is not.
Please, yes.
Right. So no, we sort of feel that pressure. Me and my friends and peers, we talk about it, and I think for this moment we thought like, oh, we've had this great victory, but now we're starting to see that kind of slide away because of all this stuff too that's going on.
Yes. And there's such trans and gay phobia right now. It's unbelievable. And we have states are making that illegal.
Right.
Well, like Texas, absolutely. They'll throw you, they will stigmatize you like parents who have children who feel like they are of an alternative existence and want that for themselves. They're starting to charge those parents with child abuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if we have a personal story about that. We have a very close friend who worked for AT&T. I'm going to say it out loud because they come out looking good in this. But a lot of they're in Texas. Well, it's him and his partner have 3 kids, and they wanted him to move to Texas. But then they found out that if they moved to Texas, only one of them could be the parent. And the AT&T was like, we're not going to put you through that. You stay in Atlanta, we'll work something out. But that is not, and this was like 10 years ago. And it's even got worse since then. But they were like, if we move to Texas, only one of us can be their actual parent. The other one is just, they're nothing. They have no rights at all, actually.
They have no rights. Oh,
and that was 10 years ago. And AT&T handled that really coolly. Shameless plug for AT&T.
Right. Well, the Supreme Court is going to make that illegal. They're going to make alternative lifestyles illegal once again. And they're going to make gay marriage illegal. And they even want to make contraception illegal. This is on their docket because right now, the right to life and the ultra right wing is just absolutely on a rampage. And I was also reading that the next thing that's easiest for them to do, that they have a plan to do, is to make it so that women cannot go to other states to have abortions. They want to make it illegal, totally illegal, to cross state lines to go have an abortion.
Right.
So this is the next thing they're trying to do, and the states are actively trying to do this. So not only can you get an abortion in their state, like Texas, but they're trying like hell to make it so you cannot leave the state and get one in a state where abortion is still legal.
So let me ask you a question then. Can you speak? We're going to ask you. Sometimes we speak for all gay kind. We're going to ask you to speak for all womankind here now. It's because in lieu of also what happened out in, I guess it was Kansas, where they had that surprise vote. Do you think that really deep inside women are not going to stand for this? I know progressive women like you aren't, but there's probably a lot of moderate women out there who are going to just keep their mouth shut and go to the polls and not vote for people who are like voting. Do you think that's going to happen or could happen?
If you put it to a vote in every state where you can close that curtain in the voting booth, I think you would find, because polls show that the majority of Americans disagree with this.
Yeah, they do. Most Americans
majority believe that a woman should have a choice. So that means the majority of women believe that also. And I think the majority of women were absolutely shocked. And I wasn't, because this has been talked about for years. The the right has been trying to get rid of abortion ever since it was legalized in every state through
They
the
have. Yeah.
court. They have been after it with a vengeance every year, testing it with the Supreme Court all the time.
Mhm.
And I knew all this year that they would take it away. And I've had a lot of women go, oh no, they can't. And I've done.
Do you think this has been like a shock though to women who have become like progressively complacent a little? I think it did the same thing for the gay community. I mean, you know, we realize now that we're next in the crosshairs, you know, and it could happen. And then we have things like, you know, I don't know if you know, in downtown Atlanta, Midtown, which is a lot of where the gay community lives, they have those rainbow crosswalks. Well, several times in the past few weeks, we woke up on Saturday morning and people wrote swastikas and anti-gay slurs across them. That's happened twice in the past couple of months, not once, but twice. And so I think that, I guess, sort of bringing that question to you is like, don't you think that women, I mean, this could be a backfire issue for them. It's like they've worked so hard for it. And you could even see now like people like Brian Kemp kind of like, well, you know, we're standing up for our values, but he's not quite so fire and brimstone about it now.
Well, you know what it is? This is what's happening. They're keeping quiet about it. They've taken it out of their speeches.
Yes, they have.
Their pro-Trump rhetoric out of their speeches too. They still oppose it, and they still do not want to change what currently happened with the Supreme Court. They are still totally anti-abortion, but the Republicans have realized that if they leave it in their speeches, they're going to alienate more people. So the Republicans have taken all of those issues out of their speeches. And that's what's happened, because their advisors have said, if you talk about abortion, you're going to lose a lot of women, a lot of people who agree with it. If you talk about Trump and his beliefs and what he would do, you're going to lose a lot of voters, and they're taking them out of their speeches. That's why you're not hearing about it. They know.
They know, yeah, but which that tells you something right there. That, but on the other side, I'm seeing progressives not shy away from it. I'm hearing commercials. You know, there's been some pretty poignant commercials. Yeah. So I think the good news is sometimes progressives can be a little wimpy about this stuff. I think they sort of see an opportunity here to kind of to move in, and hopefully they will. Because you are right, most Americans do favor allowing a woman to make a choice.
It's in the 70 percentile.
Yeah. It's like gay marriage. Most of the people marriage favor that. So it's very ironic that the Republicans have gained so much power without majority of people supporting their positions. It's kind of a weird little scam they've kind of got going there.
Well, that's because they are working it that way. They are a minority, and yet they have managed, because of great organizing within the party. I've been reading all about it. What Democrats don't do and don't address, and I don't know if they don't realize it, but they don't address it, is that the Republican Party for years, because they have been the minority and they want to take over the country, is they have been organizing and organizing and organizing to get their message out in such a way that it scares people, and it drums up competition between people, and they know exactly what to say to people to make sure that whites hate blacks, white hate Mexicans, and it gets them riled up, immigrants, and it makes them vote for them.
Right.
So, and the reality is, I was just reading one article and made perfect sense to me. It said if the Democrats would just start talking about how the economic issues are not white against black, and they're not white against Mexican. When you are making $25,000 a year, or $40,000 a year, or even $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and the president and CEO of your company are making $25 million a year, this is not an issue of white versus black. This is an issue of how we are just getting by and the rich are rolling in money.
And that's what
And
they want. That's their system, though, right? They want to keep the rich richer and let us kind of fight among ourselves about these other things while they just keep piling up and getting richer and richer and richer. And we're fighting about abortion and gay rights and Black Lives Matter, and the rich are just getting richer, richer.
So the rhetoric is the reason you're having such a hard time is because the country is supporting blacks who have a hard time, and we're giving them money, or we're letting too many Hispanics and they're taking your jobs, and the blacks are taking your jobs, and the women are taking your jobs. And that's not the problem. We're all working class. The problem is so much money is being taken by the people who are running things.
Right.
They're taking millions and billions of dollars that could be given to, to workers who are keeping them rich.
Wait just a minute. Are you talking about socialism? I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
Why can't you pay us a little more?
I know. No, but that's funny. The reason why I said that is when you say stuff like that, that's what people say. Oh, you're talking about socialism. And I'm obviously being ironic and sarcastic. Yes, but when you do talk about you talk about economic inequality, they start throwing out the socialism word. When you start saying stuff like that sounds really good. Like, you should just go on tour with that speech, Diane, man. You should make a record. But the first thing they're going to say is like, she's a socialist, or whatever.
The right wing response to that is, but we create jobs. So, gee, we're supposed to be thrilled that you're creating a job as a waitress where the minimum wage is $2.75.
Right.
And we hope we'll get tips. So you're bragging about that kind of job creation?
Right.
And oh my gosh, Amazon, you're working in our warehouse. We're paying you $15 an hour. You should be thrilled.
Right.
And by the way, we're clocking every time you run down the aisle to pick out a product. If you can't do it in a 1 minute, 30 seconds, we're going to take that $15 an hour away from you.
God forbid if you have to go pee or something like that.
Oh my gosh, you can only do that 3 times a shift.
Right, exactly.
It's not white against black and Mexican against white, or Asians the problem, or women taking jobs. It is the working class. It's the problem that the working class cannot get a living wage.
Right. And then you use that word living wage and they go crazy too. So, but
yeah. Well, why can't you live? Well, we gave you a tax break. Oh, really? What, you're giving me, $15 more a month off my taxes?
Yeah. And those are expiring, by the way. Those Trump tax breaks start to expire now, but the rich is never. The ones he gave to the rich never expire, but the ones he gave to the middle class are already starting to expire. Yeah. So thanks for that.
Nobody complained about that. The fact that billionaires got tax break. Oh, but they're job providers, and the rest of us schmucks didn't.
Right.
And Mark and I were in the category where we didn't. In fact, we paid more.
Right.
And everybody's talking about their $100 tax.
They're pro-life. They're pro-life. That's all that matters. Isn't that kind of the way? That's kind of the way. It's the shield they hide behind. So. So just so you know, my little timer went off. Just so you'll know. So I just wanted you to know. I didn't want to interrupt you there because you had you were on a roll, man. You were going. I feel like you did have a special effects person back there, an amen choir.
I'm always on a roll.
Exactly.
Always on a roll. And sometimes I think, geez, Diane, why can't you just go along with life and just, like so many of her girlfriends are just, I don't follow any news because then I would, I'm happy or not. And I thought, well, we are going to reach a point where we don't have a democracy anymore if we're not informed, but it's going to happen anyway because we now have so many people who are not going to accept that anymore because they are terrified of the people who are trying to take it away. I mean, the whole right-wing Congress is totally terrified of Trump and what he would do to them should he become president again. They're terrified of him.
You know what he wants? He wants to be the monarch.
Yeah. And
but not like Elizabeth or Charles. He wants to be like a good old-fashioned medieval monarch.
He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be an autocrat. And so many people are saying what he's going to do when he gets in office. He's not going to do anything for anybody because he's going to be too busy with retribution against people who have not supported him.
That's right, who didn't bend the knee.
Nancy Pelosi will be the first one he puts in front of the firing squad. He is going to just go after the people he doesn't like.
That's all he'll do, exactly.
That's what he's going to do.
Right. Well, before we kind of completely run out of time here, did you have anything on the lighter side? The
lighter side. Well, the lighter side is we've had lots of stuff going on in our house, improvements.
Right. You did
even though we've been kind of a slave to staying home because of all the stuff the workmen are doing, which has gone on for months. We have lots of things happening in the house that are really making us happy. So that's another.
So you're making your castle better. You're improving your kingdom.
We are, and it's beautiful. It's
good.
It's just beautiful, which makes us very happy. But next time we have to hear about your vacations.
Okay.
And because you've been taking vacations.
I know we're going to. I think I went to P-Town. Did we talk since then?
He did.
Yeah, I went to Provincetown.
I stayed
home. Then we both went to Cumberland Island for a wedding, and we stayed at the Grayfield Inn, which is great. We went to Dragon Con, which you know what that is. This, as we told you earlier. And then we're going camping. We're going camping this next weekend for like a little music festival thing. So we got some vacations to catch up on. We missed 2 or 3 years of these things. So I think everybody's playing catch up on vacation.
I know. Mark and I have yet to do that, but we are starting to talk about some vacations we might like to do.
Look forward to hearing about that then. So that'll be kind
of
fun.
Other than, maybe moving out of the country because it's getting so crazy here.
You move to England. You can become a subject. You become a subject of the king.
Yeah. So
you'd be a fine British lady.
Yeah, we're going to be planning, and But anyway, it's been great to talk to you guys. And I do want to hear about the vacations next time we talk. And I won't dominate the conversation.
I was enjoying it. We were sitting here like we were turning our special effects back on and let you go.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be asking the questions.
All right. That's good.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll try to be ready. Well, I guess for that, we'll go in. Unless you have anything else, we're going to sign off. I think Taryn's going to come back in and take over.
Taryn's on the schedule. So I'm going to let you go. And it's always wonderful to see you too.
Always wonderful to talk to you too. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.